Mike Grimaldi. I've been away for a little bit, but now I'm back because my eyes were all fucked up. What's happening, Big Mike?
What's up, buddy? What? Hold on.
We lost you. That's all right.
Yeah, this thing came across the screen. Got it. There we go. All right, we're in. What's up, brother? How's it going?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. How you been?
All right. I really appreciate you doing this, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to come on. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Arm wrestlers are the best. I tell this to every guy. I wish I got into arm wrestling before I got into bodybuilding. Arm wrestlers are the best guys because they come on, they'll no problem. You got it. They talk, they bullshit. No.
Yeah, no. Arm wrestling is a good sport.
Yeah,
and like I said, compared to other sports, the longevity of it, you can't beat it. You're not getting your head knocked in like boxing or UFC or something like that.
So I'll be honest with you. I have not done. I usually do research on the guys that I'm interviewing. I have not done much research on you. All I did was go and ask James Reed, and actually James actually told me to get you on. Actually,
gotcha. Yeah, James is a good guy. So I'm getting James Reed promotion right now. Oh boy.
Yeah, he was, and I'll tell you after you tell me all about yourself. I'll tell you why he told me to get you on. So
gotcha.
All right. So how far have you gotten in arm wrestling? Apparently, you're a bright shining star right now, from what I understand.
Yeah. So it depends. So this is about my 7th year.
Okay.
I went to New Orleans for the Wall Finals. I've been to Vegas for the Wall Finals. Kind of the Wall Finals is when Wall and ESPN kind of shut down and they kind of went and did their own thing.
Yeah.
So I did that. States, I'm 8-time New York State champion.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so James has been running the whole team thing. I've won it 7 times, under his federation, which is National Arm Wrestling League, NAL. And then, 1 year he had it it was weird. It wasn't that league. It was the Rockwell Championships. And you got watches for champion for the trophies. So that was pretty cool. And that was the Rockwell State Championship. So I won both of them left and right hand. So Vermont State Championship, I won twice. A couple times Pennsylvania State Championships. So, state championships, I've been around, done that. Northeast, pretty much everybody's heard of me in the Northeast. Obviously, Brandon Seltzer, he was a big name. Me and him had a super match, beat him 3-0 left-handed. So that was pretty obvious of what's going on there. He's had a great year. So
all right. So 2 questions and I'll jump into Brandon Seltzer. How old are you now?
Me, 32.
Okay, so if you're doing this at 32, like you said, John Brzezinski is in his 60s, and Mike, what's his name, is in his 50s, and so is Devin Larratt. So you got plenty of time.
Yeah. That's
plenty of time. So that's the reason why James wanted me to have you on, was because I found out that Brandon, who I didn't know, who's also an up-and-coming great arm wrestler like yourself, he beat Travis Beijing. So I'm like, oh shit, who's this young kid? So I hit up James, because I always ask James, Michelle, or Paul in if if this person's worth interviewing, if that person's worth so on and so forth. So I hit him up and then James goes, well, if you have Brandon on, you got to have Mike Grimaldi on.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
And I was like, all right, cool. So I was trying to get you guys on at the same time, but Brandon didn't want to, which I totally respect,
Yeah, and I told you kind of that, he's kind of doing his thing, promoting himself, obviously, with his YouTube and stuff. And I doubt he wants to have the guy and then just beat him.
And his for my channel, his YouTube video did well. He almost got 1,000 views, and that's for my channel.
No, yeah, that's a lot.
The most for an arm wrestler, the most I ever got was Mike Aiello with 15,000 views.
Damn, nice. That's cool.
That's because he's fucking Mike Aiello. But
as far as accomplishments too, that's the one thing, buddy. Arm wrestling, a lot of people get in it and look at short game. I might not have world championship trophies or this. I've gone around, done well, state championships there, but I'm looking at the long run. I'm training myself to be world champion over in Europe. Be number 1. In my prime, you know what I mean? And that takes a while. You're not going to do that overnight. You see these guys that are finally number 1, number 2 in the world. They've been doing it 15 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where you got to look down the road. It's not, what's going on at 4 or 5 years. That's what I'm looking towards.
Yeah, well, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get the guys that are on the cusp of blowing up right before they blow up. So I had you, Brandon, Oh, fuck. What's the other guy's name? I had him on a couple of months ago. Shit. He's going to kill me if I can't remember his name.
Oh, you're good. No,
Super nice guy. Super nice guy. The fuck is his name? Big dude. Goatee.
Was it the one with the?
Was it which one?
With his daughter, the arm wrestler?
No. Let me see.
No.
No, that was Steve. No, Madison's on her way to being like.
Yeah. No, I didn't know if it was him.
She's on her way to being like, you know, the best woman arm wrestler. You know.
Yeah.
She's only 20 years old.
No, she seems good. I saw her with a bunch of trophies. I don't pay too much attention.
Yeah, she's a whole level. Roger Bailey learned. That's it. Roger learned.
Dude, yeah, he's come to my team. We got a team Outlaws. He's come to a bunch of our practice.
Yeah, so I had him on. I had you. I had Brandon. And so I'm trying to get the guys that are like on the cusp of blowing up, you know?
Yeah.
This way, when you become a superstar like John Brezink, I can go, hey, come on my show. And you're like,
oh, yeah, you remember me.
Yeah. So anyway, what is the deal with you and Brandon? What's the beef that goes on between you?
Yeah, there's no beef, really. I mean, me and him, he started probably 2-3 years earlier than me. I remember when I came in the game, like my first couple big tournaments I went to, I remember he was like, not the up-and-comer, but he was like the new guy that was doing real good. And I'm like, man, you know, I used to take advice from him. But then when I got into pro classes and really started doing good, I mean, you could go back in time and go ask anybody, the majority left and right-handed from when I started and got into pro classes, the majority of the wins are, for me, you know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, we've always just met each other. He's out in Rochester, New York. I'm from Utica, New York.
Okay.
Anytime there's a state championship, we've always faced each other. Every time there was a wall tournament, we've always faced each other.
Okay.
And then, during what?
So I was gonna say, so what happened when you guys faced each other?
This last time?
Well, in general, every time.
The majority of the time, like I said, I've beaten him. The only time I can remember is the first New York State Championship James held up at the fair. Me and Brandon got in a right-handed match. And I remember he came up to press me, and I didn't really have a move at that time because it was like back in 2015. And he ended up beating me right-handed for the state title. And he hurt something in my elbow. But I ended up coming back and beating him for the left-handed. So we both won left-handed. He won right-handed. So
okay. What weight division are you guys in?
So he's totally different. He's about 20 pounds heavier than me.
Oh, is he really? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm about like 190, 195.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When I pulled him, I bulked up to 200.
Yeah.
I mean, depending which day you ask him a question, I think you'll get a different answer what his weight is, you know. So
yeah. Well, I mean, about the only time I've actually saw him arm wrestle is when he arm wrestled Travis, but he's a gym nut and he looks really strong. Like he looks really powerful. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And,
like just at work and stuff, when people saw the picture of people I was arm wrestling, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're arm wrestling. I'm like, chill out, it ain't all in the looks. Yeah,
no, it's the truth. It's completely different.
And the thing is too with arm wrestling, those big guys, they got big arms. When you get in the match with them, start grinding, and that endurance starts taking place, those big arms fill up with lactic acid real quick.
That's right.
So, you know what I mean? When they're tired and you're tired, trust me, the bigger guy's a lot more tired when it comes to the sport of arm wrestling, when you get into it.
I could believe that, definitely. So he goes and he arm wrestles Travis Bajan, and he actually beats him. Yeah. So obviously everybody knows Travis is like this, probably one of the best in the world, definitely one of the best in the country, well known in the arm wrestling world. What'd you think of it? What'd you think of the match?
I mean, what I think of the match, props to Brandon. He won. I thought the match was sloppy, personally, myself, from promotion standpoint to the video standpoint to the whole match itself. I mean, Todd Hutchings, I think he pulled that same card. I mean, if you watch him, he's coming in, beating the kid. They're calling win before it's even close to the pin line.
Yeah, that was when he beat the Australian kid, right?
Beat the Australian, which, obviously he would have beat him. He was much stronger than him. But then Travis is taking Brandon, and I mean, what my view was looking at a couple of those times, I was like, pin. It was the same angle as I was watching the Hutchins match. And that's what the ref was doing at that same spot. So, but like I said, endurance, I give it to Brandon. He held in there. That last match, you could see Travis at halfway point, he was like, fuck, I can't get him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Brandon pressed him and won. So
yeah, absolutely. So,
but if you see, if you go watch Neil Pickup in Arm Wars and see how they put their super matches on, and then you go watch that Brandon and Travis super match. It's just two totally different levels. You know what I mean?
Right. So you think that Travis pinned him a couple of times before the ref called it?
I think Travis pinned him a couple times where the ref called Todd Hutchings pins wins. Did it look like a pin to me? Not really. But where the ref was going win for Todd, that's right where Travis had Brandon.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because there was just no consistency in the refing.
Because I see what you're saying. Because Travis isn't he's not somebody who won't bitch and moan and complain. Like he'll he looks like the kind of guy that if he pins you, and the ref doesn't call it, he's gonna fucking say something.
Yeah, that's true. But like I said, that was just from my viewpoint, my opinion.
And what about the the running fouls? Am I right?
Yeah, running fouls. Was that the rules during that match? I don't know.
I don't know. You tell me. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. That depends. I mean, it depends. What tournament you go to has a totally different set of rules. Sometimes they do running fouls. I don't know. I think it was running fouls.
Okay. All right.
Because Travis fouled twice in that first match, and he called 2 fouls. Yeah, it was running fouls because they didn't stop and they called 2 fouls on Travis.
Okay. So do you think Brandon has his number? Do you think he just had a better day than Travis? Do you think Travis underestimated him? Or is Brandon just this up-and-coming guy like yourself that is making a name for himself and beating top dogs at this point?
No, I mean, I think Travis was out of shape, looked terrible for the sport of arm wrestling. I mean, on the table-wise. I mean, he had everything with that top roll and still really couldn't finish it. So, but props to Brandon. I just think a really good Brandon L. Seltzer at the top of his game arm wrestled a really out of shape Travis Page. So you can't compare. You know what I mean? Like Brandon won hands down, but it's just out of shape Travis and a really in shape Brandon.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't think Brandon's ever going to be out of shape. To be honest with you,
yeah.
He's worse than me. Like he lives in
you can tell. I mean, like I said, even in this summer, I pulled 187s at the Vermont tournament. Like at 2018 point, Brandon all of a sudden started getting real big.
Yeah.
And he went into the next weight class. And I stayed, for those last, I mean, everybody's been talking about me and him pulling like my team, my area for sure. Because for the last 3 years, he's been bigger and we've never really met because we've been different weight classes.
Right. Well, how would you get around to do that? Would you want him to lose weight or would you gain weight?
No, I told him the last super match we pulled in November, I told him you come in as big as you want.
Oh, no, you're like, no weight. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't care. I want him as big. That's why I called him. From COVID, when COVID started, I didn't pull for almost a year and 3 months. And he went all around, just wrecking things. Because I had my kids and stuff, I just, I had to be safe. So I didn't pull. All I did was train with my team. Yeah. And then kind of this summer with the whole team, I'm like, he's the one I want. I'm like, I don't know when, but he's the one I got to pull. Because if I'm going to go have a super match with somebody, I want it to count. I don't want to go pull Joe Blow from, wherever and beat him. I want to beat the man who's beating everybody.
Right. And he definitely knows that. I mean, you kind of make it clear on social media.
Oh, he knows, especially now. You know what I mean? And we're, like I said, it's friendly. Like if me and him saw each other, we ain't gonna go fight each other. But I'm gonna let him know. He knows, you know what I mean? He came in on top. He came in fresh, and I beat him 3-0. Like I said. And if he beat me, if I was the one going around beating everybody, and he beat me like that, I would expect him to be saying the same thing to a podcaster, to somebody to ask them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I had him on a show, and
I watched the whole thing.
Oh, thanks. He called out Sean Latimer. Why Sean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. He seemed like a little nervous when he was on your show, so I feel like Sean was the first one to pop in his head because he was at the last tournament with them together. And Sean
really?
Beat him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
The last state championship.
Was that a nervous Brandon? Because I just thought he was like a shy, a very quiet, shy guy. I don't know.
He seemed nervous. Like I don't know why he called out Sean Latimer. Like Sean just beat him. And even if he beat Sean, like what's that gonna do for Brandon? You know what I mean? Like if anything, I don't know. You start going like Start picking your Frodo Hoglunds from like Norway. Start picking like, you know, that kid from Aussie who just lost to Todd Hutchings. Start picking some of these Europeans that you could really be like, put American arm wrestling on the map.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of American arm wrestlings, it's kind of like, you know, I love competing. It's great, but my goal is to be world champion. Mm-hmm. Like Brandon's beating all these American arm wrestlers, but we're in a very privileged time for arm wrestling. They're putting on these international shows right in our backyard. So
that's true. Yeah.
Pick one of those guys. I mean, he's the #1 dog in the United States right now. Pick one of those guys. Like I said,
I don't doubt that he won't be. I think it's just, you know, I don't know the guy. I don't know what his strategy is, but it seems to me that he's on the right track, as you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so is Roger, from what I understand. Roger Learns.
Yeah,
you know?
But sometimes, you know, it's like, and like I said, I'm not trying to dog. I'm just trying to be this podcast. We're being real with each other. Sometimes, like, you know, these up and comers, they get on this. Like, and Brandon's great. I'm not just talking about him. I know. I feel like we've been on that train for a little bit, so we'll get off that. But I feel like they go in circles. Like, they get really good, and then they'll arm wrestle the other really good guy. Then they'll go to like the other really good American, then maybe lose, and they keep just doing this like circle instead of trying to like franchise yourself out and show, you know, everybody what we're really about, that we're just as strong as everyone else.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So we get stuck in this like I've been around 7 years. You know how many times I watched the same matches with the same guys. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on. Right. Let's try.
Why do you think? You think there's like a comfort zone, or do you think people are scared to lose, or do you think it's a money thing because you have to pay?
Well, we're coming off the big World Arm Wrestling League, the whole wall. You know, that was when it first started. It was more like authentic, and then when they started doing like the Bleacher Report super matches, I feel like it was just kind of like. We can swear on here, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I feel like it became just a big dick sucking competition.
Okay.
Like the guy who won told the same guy who lost last year, and this guy, and like they didn't really make it like who beat this guy should go to the bottom, then the next guy up should face this guy. Like we had Michael Todd and Devin how many times? We had this match how many times? It's like it's getting boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess they were just looking for more of a WWF kind of deal.
Oh, 100% came that.
You know, because when I found out that Mike Aiello had to arm wrestle Juji Mufu, who is another YouTuber, I'm just like, why? Why
yeah, and that's kind of how I feel. Like, and that's how me and my team try to keep it real. Like, we're training for a sport. Like, it just, not that it got embarrassing, but it's like, we're training for a sport. We're trying to get the arm wrestling on the map, but in the back door, we're making a joke with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of a lot of YouTubers that are getting into arm wrestling? I mean, Larry Wheels. You got to give him his props. He's actually promoting it very well. But like a Juji Mufu or Larry Wheels or the guys that do powerlifting, like an Eric Spoto.
It's funny. I was just remember I told you I know Eddie Cohn, the GOAT.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, me and him were just talking about the same thing. The YouTubers and like the new arm wrestlers. We're like, you know, give them credit. They're getting their viewers. They're getting their, you know, what they're doing it for. They're making money. But you know, the newer guys like Larry Wheels, you know, be careful. You don't want to hurt yourself. You know, take your time. But you know, like whatever, it is what it is. They're trying to promote themselves and get their chunk of change.
Yeah. See, I always grew up. I grew up a bodybuilding fan, powerlifting, and then my first was boxing. You see, I have a picture of me and Muhammad Ali over there. At the bottom. I have a Vander Holyfield's autographed gloves there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then if you look around the rest of my man cave, I got Joe Frazier.
Nice.
Whatever. Blah blah blah. But anyway, so when I see these YouTubers jumping in the ring like Jake Paul and Paul or whatever the fuck his name is. And it kind of bothers me because it's like, dude, you know, first I understand that they're training and they're training and they're not taking the sport lightly, but they're bringing a huge spotlight on themselves and watering down the sport because there are guys out there with tremendous boxing talent that they would not be able to touch. No, it would not be able to even come close. They wouldn't be able to win a round. But these are the guys that they don't want to fight. They fight kind of like, you know, the retired basketball player or the UFC guy that's washed up. And listen, there's bad and good. They're drawing, but to me, it's like you're making a sideshow out of it.
Exactly, yeah.
When you're a hardcore fan of anything, you know the ins and outs and whatnot. If that's the case, and you want to be a fighter, then and you want to be a ranked top fighter, then fight the fight the guy.
Go through the process.
Yeah.
This whole Jake Paul thing in the YouTube, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, all it is money. He's got money. He's got money to put the fight on. He's got money to set the fight up for himself.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no way this dude ever goes into a UFC octagon with anybody with UFC rules. Destroyed.
Yeah.
There's no way he goes into a boxing ring with a boxer that can box.
Right.
And at last, he gets destroyed.
Yeah. So listen, I'm not gonna lie. I never watched any of the Jake Paul stuff, but I did watch the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones when they were washed up, and it's fun, But the guy, there are fighters out there that have tremendous talent. There's a guy named Terrence Crawford. Yep. I don't know if you ever heard of him. And
that sounds familiar. Crawford.
He is one of the most talented fighters, not of today, but he is like I'll say this. He's like and James Reed will actually hear this, and I'll probably get a text message from him. But he is like a better version of Tommy Hearns.
Gotcha.
Tommy the Hitman Hearns. He is a more talented version of Tommy Hitman Hearns. Anyway, so getting back to the arm wrestling, what I'm saying is I'm not a hardcore arm wrestling fan. I'm a general fan, and then I get my information from, like I said, Michelle, James, Paul. Sometimes Nancy Locke usually helps me out a lot. I have to believe that when you see these YouTubers coming over and you're a hardcore fan of the sport, like I am of boxing, that there's a little bit of like animosity, there's a little bit of hate. Like
it's annoying. You know what I mean? It's definitely annoying. Like I said, when I first started, it was hard knocks. It wasn't like, okay, this is how you do your hands. It was 7, 8 of us in a little room trying to get up to that table and get your work in. And, these guys just have it like polished out. I mean, how are they taking these YouTube videos? It looks like they got universal cameras making a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, they're trying to tell people how to arm wrestle when they've been arm wrestling for a year or two.
Right. All right. So what is the future like for Mike Grimaldi? What are you planning on doing?
Oh, keep grinding. Stay consistent.
Do you have any tournaments in the future, or?
I went pretty hard August, September, all the way through December. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking time off until like April. I was talking to James, and it's either going to be a bigger tournament or try to set my eyes on like a super match. Somebody a little ranked above me, something like that. Because when I just won my last super match, it got me ranked, so that was cool. I got ranked again.
Right.
So probably set something big up like that. Hopefully, it depends. No names in particular. I'm always training. I'm staying consistent. Whoever wants something, they can come and get it. Really.
Yeah. Well, that's how you're supposed to be when you're a competitive athlete.
Yeah.
And sometime, somewhere in the future, you definitely want to enter a world tournament. Is that accurate?
Oh yeah, the one in Florida. Everybody was like talking it down or talking it up. I wanted to go to the one in Florida, but like I said, I got 2 younger boys, and I just COVID thing. I had to play it safe and I had to bail out of that. I kind of had plans to go. It would have been perfect. 4-hour flight away from me, but I just kind of had to bag that one.
Yeah, but maybe in the next couple of years, I'm sure it'll be.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm always training. I'm always ready to go. So I'm always staying consistent.
Okay, so opinion time. All right, let's start off. Let's start off with Chance and Todd Hutchings. What do you think about that one?
Chance and Todd Hutchings. I think Todd Hutchings, too much inside power, too much side pressure.
Yeah, what is the deal with Chance? Is he throwing himself in the deep end too quick?
Chance, it was weird because Chance came up. Like I said, I try to stay off the social media arm wrestling world. It gets a little too dramatic. But Chance came up and he got real good, and he started calling out like this guy and this guy had a couple good wins and got real thick. And I saw him do good at a tournament down south. Then he's called a couple guys out these last matches, and it hasn't gone too well. John Brzezinski obviously said go. So I don't know what he's trying to do, get really big and beat really big guys, or like try to stay like, light heavyweight.
But he's in Turkey right now, and I don't know. Turkey. I don't know who he's arm wrestling in Turkey. He's a young dude too. He's like your age, right? Maybe a little younger.
Yeah, he's young. I think he might be younger. He was just training with Larry Wheels in Dubai too.
Yeah. Do you think he's jumping in the deep end too quick, or do you think it's a good technique, a good angle? Striking while the iron's hot, if you will.
No, I mean, he's getting his name out there.
Right.
He does well in state tournaments, local tournaments. So, I mean, if he can get the match, more power to him. I just think, Todd Hutchings, that's a big one to chew off.
Yeah, that is a big one. Here's again, I got to relate everything to boxing, right? Because I don't. You don't want to become the guy that you need to beat to get into the next level, if that makes sense.
And yeah, that's what I feel like happens a lot of these times. Like they win one, like you don't see UFC guys like they beat one guy and then 3 weeks later they're fighting another guy. No, you beat one guy, you go back home, you start training, you come up with a plan, and then you take someone out like 2-3 months later.
Right.
It's just I feel like the game plan for a lot of these guys is just they don't got a good game plan.
Yeah, I don't want to see Chance. And it probably not because he's got plenty of time. But I don't want to see Chance become the guy that, like a warm-up match. Oh, you want to go after Todd Hutchings? Let's see if you could beat Chance first. If you could beat Chance, then you got a shot against Todd, right? You don't want to be that guy, Yeah. And I don't think it's going to happen. So I think he's too smart to let that happen. But that happens in fighting a lot, where it's like, okay, you want a shot at the title? Well, if you could beat this guy, you've come along so far, and you beat this guy, then we know you're ready. Like it's like that guy that if you break into that barrier and then you're into the top 10, you don't want to. I don't want to see Chance like become that guy where it's like you're good enough and everybody's kind of the top dogs are beating him and surpassing him kind of deal.
Yeah, well, I'll put it this way: like competition, you can even a lot of these guys. Competition, when you do good, you can even become stupid or smart. And a lot of these guys, I feel like they just become stupid. Like you do good, and also you think you're gonna beat this top dog instead of like, okay, you did good. Let's get smart. Let's take out somebody like halfway between them. And that's what I tried to do in my career. Like, there's not too many matches unless it's high level or against Frode in Vegas where you see somebody smashing right through me. Like I try to calculate my career. I know how good I am. I know who's better, but I know who's really better, and I try to pick my matches smart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, like with the Brandon match, like I knew Brandon. I know how Brandon pulls. I knew he was bigger, maybe stronger, but I know I'm smarter. I know my game plan's better, and it worked out exactly. Like if you go watch that match, game plan take over that match 100 times.
Mm-hmm. All right, so next one, Michael Todd and Gennady. What do you think?
Michael Todd.
I'm going to go with Michael Todd too.
Yeah,
go ahead.
He's turning it up. He looks like the last month or two he's turned it up.
Yeah, and I think he has this survival mode. Like if I don't win this one, I gotta win this one because he didn't do so well last time against Devin, and now Devin's doing pulling Levon. So now, what do you think about Devin and Levon?
Oh, Levon, yeah, Levon. Devin. I like Devin. I went up, trained with Devin. He taught me a ton of good advice. I was at his house. He taught me a ton of stuff. But Levon's a beast, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't even look human.
No.
You know what I mean? He looks like a Neanderthal man. He looks like
Dave Chafee's top roll. He's a very strong person. And he couldn't even come close. He didn't even move. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And you're talking about Dave Chafee,
Yeah, with Dave.
Fucking monster. Yeah, right.
Exactly. And he wasn't even able to get anything out. So it was nuts.
Well, I've tried getting Dave on. He doesn't like to interview much.
But Devin looked really big when he pulled Michael Todd, but now it's almost looked like he got smaller, and I'm like, you got to go back that way.
Yeah, he
was thick when he pulled Michael Todd.
Yeah, he was
now,
big.
like I saw him at some protest video, and he didn't look as big, so I'm hoping he's going back up the chain.
Yeah, who knows? I hope he does too. But Levon look, I never saw Levon pull, and I don't, even if I did, I would need somebody to tell me what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know the very basics at this point. But
I have a good buddy who I train dogs with, and he's been over in Worlds, and he's seen him pull, and he's like, dude, not human.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even look human. He looks like a Neanderthal. He looks like this. He looks like they found Sasquatch. They found the Bigfoot, and they made him arm wrestle. You know what?
You couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. He's just this, and I don't think Devin would be intimidated. But if anybody would intimidate you, it's him. Imagine him coming to that table.
Yeah. The thing is, I want to ask him a question. I'm like, do they even let him eat food, or they just give him steroids for that?
Yeah, they chop up like.
I don't think the dude even eats a real meal.
Yeah, he eats people. They chop up like little midgets and stuff, and they throw it to him. I can only imagine what his calorie consumption is, because I got to relate it to other sports. When I was a kid in my early 20s, Barry Bonds was like the big home run hitter, and
he's the man.
When he came up to the plate, it intimidated a lot of pitchers because just his presence, he was so massive, and his dominance over the plate. And I got to believe that a guy like Levon has that same kind of energy because he's such a massive human being. His opponent's got to be like, not that Devin. I don't think anything gets on the Devin skin. If anything, it'll be the reverse. But to a normal arm wrestler that goes up against a Levon, I mean, well, nobody normal goes up against them, but to a guy that is susceptible to intimidation, I would think that is very intimidating.
No, you're right. You said it right, because even, competition, even going to compete against your local guy, you still get the butterflies. You still need to know how to control it. When you're competing on a level like that, with the man like that, you not only have competition butterflies, you have to control the intimidation factor as well.
Yeah. And he doesn't speak English, right?
I don't think so.
Very little in English. So Devin trying to shit talk really isn't gonna.
Yeah, he ain't gonna talk nothing. And the thing is, he's gonna go with fair rules, which you've seen against Devin. There's no talking to the ref like in World Arm Wrestling.
Oh,
it's
really?
You get your hands up there. If you don't do what those refs tell you, foul. Like you'll take a loss on a fouls, but you know what I mean. So
what'd you think of
at a level like that?
What'd you think of Devin shit talking John Brzenk, especially toward the end when he kind of knew he had him?
I think John put himself up there. I think it was good for Devin. I would have shit talked him too.
All right, yeah. I don't know.
The thing is, it's like shit talking. I mean, I'm sure afterwards they're friends, but the bottom line, you're going up there to do battle. Like a lot of people, I know that I'm close with, like you got pretty juiced at me up at the table. It's like, yeah, dude, we're here to do battle. We're not here to be friends, afterwards. But
yeah. I know arm wrestling, it's just part of the game. I know shit talking is just part of the game. I get it. There's a part of me that enjoys the shit talking, and there's a part of me that's like, because John Brzenk's not much of a shit talker,
Yeah, no, not at all.
And there's a part of me like. All right, so there was this famous fight with Rocky Marciano and Joe Louis, right? And Joe Louis was like the greatest heavyweight.
Familiar with that fight.
Yeah, and Rocky Marciano takes the fight because Joe Louis actually, from the story I understand, Joe Louis actually asked him to take the fight because he needed the money. But, Rocky Marciano was at the top of his game. And Joe Louis was at the end of his career, so actually came out of retirement. And Rocky Marciano didn't want to give it to him, but he did. And once they got in the ring, he beat the shit out of him. But afterwards, I understand he went to the dressing room and, checked on him, made sure he's okay. So what I'm saying is, if you're going up against a legend like that, my attitude with the shit talking is, all right, maybe to hype up the fight, have a little dignity. You're gonna beat him, especially in the last match when it was over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Whatever.
I mean, I agree with you. See, I'm not much of a shit talker. When I pull, I get up there. The only thing I'm talking about is if the ref's trying to move my hand where it's not supposed to be,
right,
or the other guy's trying to do something he's not supposed to be. Besides that, the energy's going in the match. I mean, before and after, if the other person wants to talk shit, it will. But I agree. I mean, the shit talk is not necessary, but I think it's a little different with how John went against him because John wasn't really at the end. John's trying to make this little comeback, and I mean, I think it's good. Devin let them know the game's changed and the game's at a whole new level now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. Devin is the man in North America, period, end of story.
Yeah, so I feel like it was, have a little respect, but it was good because you let them know the game's changed,
Yeah.
He's trying to make this little comeback, and it's a different game.
Absolutely. There's no question. And if Devin beats Levon, then it's kind of sealed in the books. Like, he might as well retire. Like,
yeah.
That's,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
If Devin beats Levon, Devin needs to gonna need to rise and get as far back on them fingers and pot as possible. That's the only way. If LeBron sucks him in, it's over.
That's the only one that I'm actually going to pay to see. I'm definitely going to pay to see that one. I definitely want to see that. Okay, since you're the first guy that I got, since my eyes are all fucked up, I'll just explain, because I got a couple of messages on Facebook and Instagram and so on and so forth. All right.
I was like, damn. I'm like, I hope it's not pink eye.
yeah. I didn't get beat up. I didn't get punched in the face. Nothing like that. I had surgery, and one eye just healed faster than the other one. This eye healed much faster than this one. I had surgery on both eyes. That's all it was, right? Okay. But I'm a sewer worker, so I'm a blue-collar guy, and I go to work. And, I only took a couple of days off because I got to go to work. So my eye was all fucked up, especially this one, right? So according to the guys at work, I'll tell you what they surmised happened to me. So according to the guys at work, I got pink eye because I ate a hooker's asshole out. That was
I just said pink eye before you started the story.
Yeah. But you didn't add the hooker's asshole part. Yeah. I busted a blood vessel jerking off too hard. That was the other one. Yeah. My boyfriend shot a load in my eye. That was another one. This was one of my favorite ones. Apparently, according to one of my friends at work, Chris, I put too much mayonnaise on my wife's sandwich, and she doesn't like that much, so she had to straighten me out. Note to self, my wife does not like that much mayo.
Light mayo on the sandwich.
Yeah, and my favorite one that the guys at work came up with, this one is my absolute favorite, was Daddy choked me too hard and I forgot the safe word. All of which make better stories than I had an operation. But
so you took and wrote them all down. I like that.
Yeah, no, it was all up here. It's just, working with blue collar guys, you can't. What do you do for a living, Mike? I don't even know.
Oh, me and my brother and father, we own a diner in Whitesboro, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Being a blue collar guy, you can't have thin skin. You can't. If you do have thin skin and you get offended easily, one of two things going to happen. Guys aren't going to fuck with you anymore because you're not fun to work with, or they're going to go in. And when I mean go in to the point where you want to kill yourself.
Go hard in the paint. Yeah, I grew up in a kitchen, homeboy, from when I was a little boy. Yeah. Yeah. So when I go to work with a black guy, there's no holes barred. It's unbelievable. Yeah. No.
But that's that. And I'm drinking Total War. Did you see what happened to the guy with Redcon 1?
No.
You didn't see. All right. So the Redcon 1. I think Monster Michael Todd is sponsored by Redcon 1. It's a supplement company.
Okay. Gotcha.
So this guy who owns Redcon 1 is just got sentenced to 4 years in jail, and he has to pay back like $2.5 million in fines or some shit like that.
What did he get sentenced to jail for?
So what happened was he had a company before he started Redcon 1. It was him and this guy. Yeah. His name is Aaron Singerman. It was him and this guy, PJ Braun. They had Blackstone Labs.
Yeah.
So supposedly, when they had Blackstone Labs, they had this particular supplement, which was legal at the time, and they put it on the market, and then they outlawed the whatever the supplement was. You weren't allowed to sell it anymore.
Gotcha.
But they kept selling it. They kept putting their products, and they kept selling it, so on and so forth. So PJ Braun buys Aaron Singerman out. Aaron Singerman starts Redcon 1, and the feds start doing their research and so on and so forth, and they bring these guys up on charges. So from what I understand, Aaron Singerman says, no, I'm going to trial. I'm not,
taking the charge.
I'm not taking the charge. I'm going to trial. So he goes to trial and he fucking loses, right? Yeah. So and when the whole thing is going on, he actually got a BUI, which is a boating while intoxicated, because he crashed his boat into a dock and he was fucking drunk as a skunk.
Oh, dude, you have to be real stupid to get one of those on a boat.
Yeah, and then he got pulled over for a DUI while this whole thing is going on, right? So now he's like, it's kind of like slapping the federal government in the face. You know, like it's kind of like, I don't give a fuck. We're gonna go to trial. I'm gonna waste your time. I'm gonna waste your money, and then I'm gonna act like a fool at the same time.
Yeah.
So they went, all right, if that's how you want to play it. So now he's doing 4 years in prison, and he's got to pay back $2.5 million, and then like another 30,000 in like some kind of federal fines. And his wife is going to be running the company now.
Oh, damn. Yeah, wifey at home. Damn, that's like a Colombian drug lord.
Yeah.
Running it while you're away in prison.
No, I'm hoping that she does. I'm not. I don't know if she's involved with the company or not, but she's going to be running it apparently. But from what I understand, he's worth so much money. Like I understand he's like worth like 30 mil or something like that. It's like retarded.
Really?
Yeah, it's retarded. Yeah. So, the 2.5 mil is like nothing for him, but it's the
that's
4
like
years in prison.
$2.
Yeah, right. But the 4 years in prison, and he's got some big names like Michael Todd. Then he has a whole bunch of bodybuilders, but he wanted Michael Todd because he wanted to break into that arm wrestling world. The arm wrestling community.
That's the one thing I give. I guess overall this stuff, arm wrestling definitely has become more popular since I've started.
Oh yeah, there's no question about it. It's no question about it. Like it's getting to the point where Devin Larratt and Michael Todd are like household names.
Oh yeah.
Like I was at my doctor's office, right? And my doctor was talking to me about arm wrestling. I mean, he's always worked out, right? But he knew who Michael Todd was, and Devin Larratt and Levon and all these guys were, and so on and so forth. And this is my fucking physician,
It's funny. No matter who you talk to, they're always like, arm wrestling. Wow, really?
Yeah. It's still a niche sport, but it's just becoming more and more popular. And I hope it continues to grow. And I think with guys like Larry Wheels, whether you hate him or love him, guys like Larry Wheels and Travis and so on and so forth, even James. James does a hell of a job. These guys are.
James does a good job. From when I started like probably 4 or 5 months before James's wife did.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you used to have to drive to everywhere, New York City, Pennsylvania. James brought arm wrestling, one thing, right on our home map. There's so many more tournaments, so many more opportunities now. What I mean? And that wasn't the case, before. So that's cool.
And then WAL, I hope it starts up again soon. I don't know what the
but I'm still there. I always got to give James shit at the tournament just because that's what I do.
All right. Anyway, listen, Mike, I'm going to let you go, brother. And I really appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely do it again. If I can get, I don't know. I'll see if I can get you back with somebody else, and we'll have like a whole arm wrestling discussion.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hopefully we become world champion. I come back on with my medal.
Oh, that goes without saying. This is why I'm trying to break onto the guys that are at the cusp. So I go, oh no, you got to come back now.
Like I said, when you asked me to come on, I watched the last couple of them. You do a good job. Keep it up.
Thanks a lot, brother. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Hell yeah.
All right, bro. Listen, have a good night, and I'll talk to you real soon.
All right, tell them like and subscribe.
Oh, that's right. I always forget about that shit.
You gotta remember.
The last thing on my mind. It's unbelievable. Yeah, like and subscribe. All right.